Hi, my name is Fisher Gaba. We are a group of Marshall High School students dedicated to exploring and documenting the rich experience of individuals in Marshall, Missouri. Our mission is to preserve, share, and celebrate the rich history of Saline County through the lens of its students by researching, documenting, and showing key events, figures, and milestones. We are aimed to deepen community pride and understanding through our work. We strive to connect the past to the present, fostering a sense of heritage and inspiring future generations to contribute to the country's ongoing story. Can you tell us your full name and when and where you were born?
Heather Gaba. I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma on February 27th, 1977.
How long have you been here and what brought you to here?
I came to Marshall in 1995, and I went to Missouri Valley College.
And why did you go to Missouri Valley College?
I had a soccer scholarship.
Okay. What was it like growing up here from Tulsa?
Well, it was a much smaller town. Not a lot of shopping to do or anything like that. So I was raised in the city where there were lots of restaurants and lots of options and a mall and all of that stuff.
What were some of your favorite memories from college?
Probably just hanging out with my girlfriends. We kind of made our own fun. Marshall's a small town, so we would go on road trips. We'd go to take trips for spring break, and so I was a member of a sorority, so I would hang out with my soccer girlfriends and my sorority sisters.
What jobs did you have while growing up here?
I worked at a bar called Hustlers and as a bartender and waitress. Oh, and I also worked at a video rental place that no longer exists. Either one.
Were you involved with anything else within the school other than soccer?
Soccer and a sorority.
Okay. How were the different sport teams back then? Were they better or worse or have they changed at all?
There's a lot more, as far as soccer goes, I can speak for that. There's a lot more foreign exchange students on the soccer team now. They're better than we were. We would go to conference, and I believe we won conference one time, if I remember correctly. Football, honestly, I think is probably about the same. I know they had a few good years there, but I couldn't really speak on that. But soccer's a lot better than what we used to be.
How was your career after high school or after college?
Well, I married a guy from Marshall, and he had a family-owned business, so I went to work for his family. Worked there for 5-6 years maybe, and then went to work in the insurance industry, and I've been doing that for about 10 years now, and I work from home.
What year did you get married?
2002.
And did you have any kids?
In 2006, we had twin boys.
Was it harder to date in Marshall than it was in Oklahoma?
No, because it was a smaller community, so you knew each other. A lot of people knew each other, and so friends would set you up with guys, or playing soccer. I was friends with people on the soccer team and guys on the soccer team. So
I know we've already talked about some, but were there any other businesses, buildings, or landmarks that used to be here that aren't here anymore?
Well, let's see. We had Hustlers. We had some video stores. We used to have a Maurice's when I first came to school. The Walmart was a smaller Walmart. We had a really, really good donut shop that was open 24 hours, and we could go there after the bar and get donuts, which was a very good, fun activity. Where Little Caesars is, used to be a Conoco. That's all I can really think about.
Okay. What were some distinct memories you had of pop culture? Like, what was the music music, TV shows, sportswear, outfits? What were those like back then?
Let's see. We had Friends. I remember the news coverage of Princess Di's death. The news coverage of 9/11. The songs from what we listened to was just very poppy and dance music. It wasn't a lot of the red dirt country that everyone listens to now.
All right. What are you most proud of in your life right now?
My kids. They're growing, going to college, and they're A+ students, and yep, I'm proud of the way that they have turned out.
How has the community changed over the years since you've been here?
Oh gosh. It seems like, I don't think it's really changed a lot. There hasn't been a lot of growth. It seems pretty stagnant. I know there's a lot of people in the community that want it to grow, but just how to accomplish that, I don't think anyone has a real answer for that.
What were some of the biggest events that happened in this town during your time here?
Well, not to be morbid, but there was a double murder. Let's see. The Walmart changing to Super Walmart. I can't really think of anything that like sticks out in my mind that while I was going to school that really happened.
What national or world events stood out in your lifetime, and how did they affect this town? So, like, how did 9/11, COVID, the stock market crashing in 2008, how did some of the bigger events affect this town?
Well, when the market crashed, that's what caught, me and my husband owned a restaurant at the time as well. And we had to sell that restaurant just to the economy and people not going out to eat as much. Kind of same with the business that I worked for. They had to shut the doors because of budget cuts, to schools and fitness centers nationwide, so they had to shut their doors for that. Obviously COVID, businesses had to be shut down and hours were cut.
How was it like moving here and then seeing the Oklahoma City bombing?
It makes you appreciate the small town. I like the small town vibe, but it gets frustrating when you have to drive 30 minutes to go to, a different restaurant. I know we have restaurants here and I frequent them often, but, week in, week out, going to the same restaurant gets a little frustrating. So that's probably the most frustrating, is kind of seeing some other towns that are growing, prospering, and once again, we're just kind of stagnant.
What advice would you like to give to the young people growing up in this town today?
just live each day, day by day, just make your own fun. That doesn't cause any trouble. Sometimes it's just getting together at a friend's house and watching some shows or playing some card games, or, if they can prosper and, get out of Marshall, I support that. There's many people here though that do make a good living, and so if they just put their head down and put in the hard work, then anything's possible.
Is there anything else you would like to share about your life or history of this town?
No, I've enjoyed Marshall. Marshall's been good to me, and I'm glad I made the decision to come to school here and stay here. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you for your time.